What is a question that you hate always getting asked? You have an accent. What part of incorrect country are you from? Lady, I'll give it to you quick. I'm born and bred Australian. Just like you. I lived in England when I learnt to talk. The accent has stuck around. Now pay for your food and get the fuck out of my bakery. One time a guy even tried to correct me when he kept on pressing me on what part of England I lived in. When I finally told him, he goes, nah. It's not that. Your accent's far too refined, like buddy. I think I would know where I lived a bit better than you. And as for my accent, just give me the $5, cunt. The what do you for work question is so annoying. People are at different places on their lives, and you don't know what they are up to. Might have just had a kid and taking time, or saved a bag and sick of all the BS, and you get looked down on for your answers. Also, people need to crack down on an employer asking about a resume gap. None of your fucking business. Might have been unemployment from an employee or your own choice to take time. If they bold it against you, they should be exposed. People are not slaves and their time is theirs. What's wrong? I used to have a friend who would always ask this if I stopped talking for a long period of times. I would say nothing, just in a relaxed mood on. Then he would still proceed to ask again an hour or more later. Sometimes I would snap TF off at him, telling him that him asking me is giving me problems. And he would get upset, understandably. That holy moly, I shouldn't have to be a Slim Shady 24/7 when I'm around him. He honestly ruined the question for me, as I knew him at the time for 6 years. It gives me more anxiety than not. A Christian, and after every service, people would ask the same small talk questions, such that I find, what do you do for work? Where do you come from? What ethnicity are you? Completely boring. Can we talk about something different? Do you like Yubu? I can't believe the Pixies fired their bass player. I really ought to see Doom Part 2 but haven't watched Part 1. I have read the book, watched the David Lynch film and the miniseries from over a decade ago. Professional cook chef, what's your favorite thing to cook? Nothing at work. Lol. Longer answer, big pot of slow simmered scratch spaghetti bolognese swaying around my home kitchen, with a glass of wine and Ella Fitzgerald. Longer professional answer, either ticket rail of 30 items, because it feels good to be on top of it and moving fast, or the last ticket of the night for obvious reasons. What do you do for work? Or what kind of job do you have? I hate this question. I don't want to talk about work. I want to talk about anything except for work because it's a boring thing to talk about. Why does it matter? I'd rather be asked about my hobbies and interests, or literally any other aspect of my life, or just talk about anything else in the world. What do you do for fun? Nothing. I do nothing for fun. Thanks for making me think about it again. Everything I do is just to kill time until the next thing I have to do. I play video games to kill time until bed or dinner. I make knives to kill large amounts of time on weekends when I'm tired of staring at a screen. I don't get joy out of anything these days. Have you had the surgery yet? Literal strangers have asked me this. Stop thinking about a stranger's crotch. You gross fucking perv. I'm totally willing to answer questions about being transgender, but that one is absolutely none of your fucking business. See this wedding ring? That's the only person that's allowed that information, my spouse. How tall are you? Pretty tall. Taller than you. How short are you? How black are you? How fat are you? How blue are your eyes? How thick are them bitties? Honestly, I don't care at all. I just chuckle that my physical attribute is still one of the few that is still socially acceptable to remark and ask about. And that's a good thing. I'm a teacher, and it's unquestionably what are we doing today? Do you think you're not about to find out in 30 seconds? Do you think if you don't ask, I'll just forget that I'm supposed to teach the lesson? Settle the fuck down. On top of that, I'm a choir teacher. What the fuck do you think we're doing today? Take a wild guess. If you're from a small town, you'll understand. I hate when people want to get really specific where you're from. Like I'll say the state or nearest city, but they want more. It's infuriating for me, because I'll know they won't know the town, and then we'll have to spend the next 3 minutes of my life explaining the location. Isn't it hard living so far from your kids? How does one respond? What kids? Oh yeah, those kids hard. No. Isn't life ever hard for you living with your kids? Yet no one ever takes the time or courage to actually ask how I got estranged from the 3 of my kids. Mustn't shatter any preconceived narratives. How are you? Do you want me to vent? Trauma dump? Be specific. No, you just expect a good or fine, so I say that. Lying or not, being asked how are you is a useless redundant greeting. Especially at a doctor's office. The nurse will ask how are you, girl? I'm at the doctor, I'm not well. So what happens when you eat gluten? I have celiac disease, and that's the first question literally everybody asks whenever I explain it to them. I understand why they ask, but it's one of those things that, after answering that same question for 12 years, I was diagnosed in 2012, I'm very tired of. Who watches the babies when you're out? I have a father who isn't an idiot. Also, I would love to stay home with them, but we like paying bills, so yes, I work. And yes, so does he. But from home, he's main caregiver. Took us like years to get the school to call him first. Ironically, I'm a teacher. How did you get your nickname out of your full name? I go by a nickname of my middle name. Something comparable is someone having the middle name Muriel and going by Mel. If you look at how my middle name is spelled and just listen to it being pronounced, you can see where I got my nickname from. Rector, because I don't think I've seen enough of one director's films to know the answer to that, and honestly, I gotta confess that, up until very recently, I didn't pay any attention to the directors, so I literally do not know. Where do you work? I hate that conversation. I have a good job. Pays well, etc., and I'm very successful. But I hate talking about work when I'm not at work. It's all anyone wants to talk about on the weekends, and it drives me nuts. That being said, I'll always do it and not complain. Sue, how are you doing today? I get pissed off when somebody is so formal and then asks me this question like I'm not doing great, especially when you already know the person a long time. Because friends or close friends will usually go sup or something, which is fine. The first things you learn about sparking conversations and making friends is to ask questions. This thread is so disheartening aside from the obvious invasive and or inappropriate personal questions. I'll just go hide in a hole now. Are you a boy or a girl? Why do you look and sound like a boy? I only hate it when I'm asked in front of my family. Outside of that, I enjoy the question. In front of family, I have to answer it correctly. But what I want to answer is I'm just swagged out FR. What are your weak and not strong sides, habits, character? My answer is, find out yourself. Because what one person sees as really positive, and they cannot appreciate it. Habits, character faults, etc. are for 99 just an opinion, not a clear scientific fact. Why are you applying for this job? Because I heard you're giving away money to people who hang out here and doing what they're told to do. I always hated that question, but this is worse. Why are you in Japan? When are you going back to your country? Are you sure you're a man? You don't look like one. The asking if I'm a man or woman isn't bothersome as much as the are you sure? I was asked that on a flight home from Germany. I couldn't wait to fill out that airline's customer service questionnaire. Why I don't play center 5 in basketball? Everybody asks because of my weight, 210 pounds. I'm 5 feet 10. Like, come on. I'm not tall at all for this position. But I got dribbling and speed. No matter how much I weight, and most of the weight, around 75, are my muscles. Well, I'm type 1 diabetic, so I usually get the should you be eating that from uneducated people, usually at work, whenever I dare eat the sweet thing in front of them. And they never listen when I try to explain that it's okay because I have my insulin. I provide my complete food order at restaurants or drive for us. I always get asked my order again at least twice. Would pitch about it and my friends thought I was being whiny. Until they ate out with me a few times. Would even sit in parts. Nope. Where are you from? Australia? No, I can tell from your accent. Where are you really from? Australia, you moron. I was born and raised there my whole life. A mixed race. Ask me where my parents are from or my heritage if you want to get specific. Does the carpet match the drapes? Why do people guys think that is so funny to ask a redhead? It just solidified the fact that they would never be finding out firsthand. Thankfully, I haven't gotten that in quite some time. Perhaps it's my BF. As somebody from Canada, isn't it cold there? Or does it snow all the time? To be fair, it probably only bothers me as I'm from the West Coast, where we get rain, not snow, and also have very mild winters, so I can't just blanket say yes to this. Where are you from? Sure, I will tell you that later. I have explained where is my country and point on the map for you. Got so fed up with it that started answering I am from planet Earth. Sorry for the rant. Used to work in customer service. When I dare enter a public space with my children, you sure have your hands full, don't you? No. Jim Bob, my kids are not bothering anyone, they are quietly drawing on their notepads. Please just let us get our groceries in place. When are you having kids? I struggled with infertility for years. This question sucks no matter what though. Also, the dreaded tell us an interesting fact about yourself as an introduction in group settings such as school. Please no. What do you do for a living? My job is confusing as hell and will take me an hour to explain, and you still won't really get it. After the hour, nor will you care. So I may just give you a very basic explanation and leave it at that. Why don't you date? It would be fine if I could just give one of the many reasons and have that be the end of it. But it always turns into 30 minutes of me desperately trying to get out of a conversation about my personal life. What did you guys talk about? Usually by my parents' relatives. IDFK. A million different things. Nothing. I don't calator conversations like that. And even if I did, what makes you think I want to share that with you?